crispy.
It's Around the Horn, delivered by Pizza Hut. Here's Tony Reale.
Hey now, welcome back to the show that scores the argument. I believe you know the national panel at the Los Angeles Times, Bill Plaschke.
Who'd have thought, Tony, that a LeBron James pregame talk would win an Oscar?
A Dallas Morning News man, Tim Kalishaw.
You see who won an award? My brother Dickie. Not you, and not you,
Now
and
that's
not you.
getting better. Kevin Blackistone in Washington, D.C.
Where you'll hear no foul language.
Michael Smith in Boston.
Why are you going to go embarrass the rest of the panelists by calling them supporting actors? I mean, you don't have to make it obvious.
Milestone Monday. Michael Smith at 99 wins, looking for 100.
I'm not about numbers.
Kalishaw at 249, looking for
Not even thinking about
250.
it.
And Plaschke and Blackistone just along for the ride. Let's go to work.
It's the first word.
We start you off with Knicks Heat. Tell me you wouldn't want to see 5 or 6 or 7 games like last night in round 1.
I wouldn't want to see 5 or 6 or 7.
I wasn't asking you. Rhetorical question. Last 3 minutes of the game, New York outscoring 13-2. Amari erasing that shot. And then LeBron with the Michael Smith-like attempt from three-point range. The Miami Heat are 14-15 versus teams with a winning record this season. The Knicks, how quickly they make everybody forget about Friday night versus Cleveland, huh? Here's the question for you, Kalishaw. Bigger step forward for the Knicks or step back for the Heat?
Much bigger step forward for the Knicks. If you'd have said after this trade they could beat the Heat in Miami, I'd have said, yeah, maybe in some sort of 116, 114 shootout. But a 91-86 game where there was good defense played on both sides, where really the deciding play was an Amari Stoudemire block of LeBron James drive down the lane. They played great defense after the first quarter. And I think the thing we talked a little about last week, but I think we underplayed it, I know I did, was after this trade, what Billups can do for this team in close games, the calming influence he has, what he does running that team. That just looks like a completely different team.
Bill Plaschke.
Tim, the Heat lost a double-digit lead at home to a 500 team. Again, it's about the Heat. I keep going back on this. The Heat is now 5-11 in games decided by 5 points or less. And it's clear now, it's been said on this network and other places, complimenting each other. Wade and James don't compliment each other as players down the stretch. They don't know who's going to take the shot. Neither of them are spot-up shooters. They were 1 for 8 from three-point range yesterday. Again, the Heat down the stretch, it seems like nobody knows who to take the shot because they aren't built like that. They're not built to win.
KB?
Well, you got to like it, though, because of what the Knicks did, Bill. I mean, we've seen the Heat struggle all year long. This new Knicks team, the biggest story at the trade deadline, came up big yesterday. And, those three-point shots, one of the reasons is because Carmelo Anthony, a guy with a reputation a little bit of being a me guy, put his hand up and said, I want to guard LeBron James in the fourth quarter, and look what he did. Forced him into 1 of 4 shooting, D'd him up on that last drive, which allowed Amari to come over and save the day with a fantastic block. These guys did it with defense, as Tim pointed out. You're talking about a team in the Heat that's averaging over 100 points a game, and they couldn't even get to 90 against the Knicks on the road.
So this says more about the Knicks to you as well.
Absolutely.
How about you, Smith?
Plaschke referenced the stat that the Heat are 5-11 in games decided by 5 points or fewer. The old saying goes, good teams don't win close games, they avoid them. You look at the end of the first half, that 16-0 run that the Knicks went on, and then the end of the game when they go on a 15-4 run, the fact that the Heat constantly let up and don't know how to execute in crunch situations. When LeBron James, crunch time situations, when LeBron James and Dwayne Wade got together, they were supposed to be indefensible. Who knew that their toughest opponent would be themselves? They make it easy for teams to defend them because they don't execute well in the half court in difficult situations. The Knicks played very inspired defense. I love their effort. I love Carmelo asking to guard LeBron. But let's not get it twisted that team is easier to defend because LeBron and Wade and the rest of them don't know what they're doing at the time in those situations.
But the Heat does avoid close games. They're 38-5 in games by more than 5 points. So they're still blowing people out. I still don't think they have
bad
problems.
teams. They blow out bad teams.
Yeah, Tim, the Heat blow out bad teams. And when does this get around to Spoelstra? When do people start saying, you know what, these guys are playing one-on-one basketball in the final 5 minutes of every big game this year. When does it get back to the coach?
Well, what are you recommending then, Plaschke? Get rid of the coach halfway through the season?
You know what? I'm not sure what's going on, but I think he's not doing a very good job right now.
And can we give some love to Mike D'Antoni? We've always said this guy's an offensive coach, and look at what he did last night. Still,
okay, that's true. But I want to get get back to what Plaschke said. Do the Heat need to make a move at the coaching position, Michael Smith?
No, I know that's ridiculous with all due respect, but they do have to make a move in these next 10 games. They have a very difficult stretch against all above 500 teams. They're an average team against good teams. You touched off it on top. 14 and 15 against teams with 500 or better. That's ridiculous
so the next
for
couple
supposedly
weeks
a championship contender.
Good. Let's move on. Cam Newton at the Combine, running fast, jumping far, and throwing the football all over the place. 11 of 21 accuracy, as described by one scout, terrible. He answered questions from the media, also read a prepared statement. I'm interested to see how you guys think that went over. So how do you think Cam came off, Plaschke?
You know, I don't understand this. Here's a guy, national championship quarterback, undefeated season, Heisman Trophy winner, and he's acting like the last kid on the playground begging for somebody to take him. Why is he even throwing there? Blaine Gabbert didn't throw there. Why is he even throwing to receivers who don't know him? Why is he exposing himself there in the combines to all these little Nixon crannies and everybody poking at him? The guy could be a great quarterback in this league. Wait till Pro Day, March 8th in Auburn. That's when he should have showed his stuff. He shouldn't have thrown it all. So I'm saying he hurts himself by even being there and doing this in the first place.
Michael Smith?
Plaschke, how did you feel when he referred to himself as an entertainer and icon? Did that rub you the wrong way?
Yes.
I know
yes,
it rubbed well, that's contradictory because this is a guy that's humbling himself and not resting on his laurels that he did in college and going to the combine and competing and actually going out there and showing what he's got. He deserves credit for that. It's not about what he did in college. It's not going to help him on the next level. And look, he came off just fine as far as I was concerned because I didn't need the combine to tell me that he needs work on his mechanics and his fundamentals. I knew that watching him at Auburn. The question is he going to work at it? And the only way you find that out is when you get him in your building. But you have a glimpse of that in the interview process, which one person saying that he didn't respond well to a question or one scout saying he was terrible, what have you, that doesn't matter. I think the kid came off very well. It depends on who you talk to. He's an engaging young man, good character. He'll be fine at the next level. I don't think he messed up.
I'm with Plaschke on this one. I don't think it was a good weekend for him. He's got his pro day coming up next week, so whatever the problems remain with dropping back, throwing standard pocket passes, his footwork, that's all still going to be there next week when he's showing scouts whatever he has to show. And I think the bigger problem, he continues to come off not bad, but just a little strange with the things he says or reading prepared statements. He does raise flags. Now, I still think he's going to get drafted very high, but the question is, was this a good weekend for him? And it definitely was not.
Blackistone.
The problem is the guy has a resume that he's already put together. No one in the NFL should be judging him based on what he did in Indianapolis. Did you see all the pressure he was under when they played against Alabama and how he responded in that particular game? I mean, look, the guy's going to be a rookie in the NFL. He's going to be getting better. He's going to be coached by pros. He's throwing to guys that he doesn't even know and just met him this weekend. So how else is he going to perform? The combine is really for guys who people don't know. It's not for guys, as Plaschke pointed out, that we already know.
Bill?
Yeah, Michael, you're saying the combine, you don't need a combine to know about Cam Newton? Then why is he there? That's right to my argument. Why is he even doing all these things if you don't need it to know about it?
No, I'm not saying it doesn't help in the overall process. I'm just saying we didn't learn anything that we didn't already know as far as his mechanics. Because he's a football player and it's a job interview and the whole league is there. I think he deserves credit. All the spotlight, all the eyes were on him, and yet he still does what he doesn't have to do.
KB, the problem with Cam Newton's resume is it only has 1 year on it. That's very, very unusual for a quarterback coming into the NFL.
KB?
But it was a very good year. It was the best that anybody was played in the country, and I think he should be given credit for that.
I know we're at the horn. I want to compare him to Ryan Mallett, who had a reverse. He was very good in the field, not so good in the media session. What matters more, Smith?
It's definitely not the media session.
Okay. Blackistone?
Absolutely, I agree with Mike. It's not the media session.
Got to go with the mallet on the field.
Plaschke.
I think the pro day is all that matters. I don't think much of it matters for these guys anyway.
We've been horned. We're taking a break.